Hello, people of the interwebs. I am Maddie, otherwise known as Diamond Fruit. I like talking about Just Dance and its lore, so that's what I'm going to be doing if it wasn't super obvious already. So, let's do this thing. I honestly had a script for the lore explanation video, in the works since a few days after Just Dance 2024's release, but stuff happens. People forget stuff. I will say right now, this is a pretty long story, and it's hard to tell without cutting out some important details. My original draft of this was 12 pages, so that's why I'm going to be separating it into 3 parts. This is the introduction with Enter the Danceverses. Next upload will be on Dance with the Swan, and the third will be on theories and what I think could happen since things are uncertain at the moment and kind of whack. This is my interpretation of Enter the Danceverses from Just Dance 2023 edition. Our story begins with Wanderlust. He is the son of the coaches from Rock Your Body and Levitating from Just Dance 2022, Siha Nova and the Traveler. The pair were first shown together in the Dance for Save Your Tears from Just Dance 2022, Siha being named after the very fabulous Little Siha on YouTube. It is confirmed that Siha Nova and the Traveler are in fact Wanderlust parents if you go to this post on Mother's Day revealing that Siha was pregnant at one point. We officially meet their child Wanderlust in the 2023 edition. He seemed to have inherited different traits from his parents, being his mother's blue skin and father's ability to create portals. Also, in the alternate version of Can't Stop the Feeling, called Dance vs. Prince version, it opens to a flashback of Siha Nova and the Traveler when they're about to join hands and save your tears, when suddenly Wanderlust appears, which does imply that this was how he was born. It's unclear if this is how everyone in the Danceverse reproduces. Could just be a them thing because of how powerful they are, but I still say never hold hands in the Danceverse with anyone ever. Before I even begin with the main story lore, I am just going to say right now, I am personally not a Dracula shipper. No disrespect to anyone who is. This is all just my opinion and observations. I personally ship Wanderer Sarah and, honestly, Jack with Braziana. I can give brief explanations as to why later on, and if you don't like it or don't agree with it, please try to stay respectful. So, Enter the Danceverses begins with Can't Stop the Feeling. Wanderlust is seen on the human Sarah's TV screen. And I don't know about you guys, but it definitely looks like she's blushing as she looks at him. Seriously, nobody can convince me there's nothing going on between these two. I can make an entire video on why the ship deserves more recognition. But anyways, Wanderlust stumbles with his little friend Disco Ball, comes through Sarah's TV. If you play the part a little bit slower, it looks to me like he stumbled after noticing Sarah. He probably thought she was all pretty and stuff and ended up dropping Disco Ball as a result. And I don't blame him, Sarah's pretty adorable. She picks up Disco Ball in confusion and is all like, what the heck? And Wanderlust is all, come into my world, human. And she just, okay, I guess. When she hands Disco Ball back over to him, she's then transported back through the Danceverse. There are past dances from older games shows on the sides as they travel, which does show that those are portals and they could easily go into those moments if they wanted to. And that would be pretty dang cool. But it would be pretty weird if you were playing Just Dance 2 and these more glossy and high-definition characters just came running by in the background. Wanderlust shows her some new dances, be less shy, and shows how to have fun together as they travel across different parts of the Danceverse and meet other coaches. I have watched this gameplay extra closely more times than I can count, and Wanderlust is definitely glancing over at Sarah for probably about 90% of the time. At the very end, we officially meet the villain known as Night Swan, who believes in absolute perfection and order. She takes a background coach's ruler magic. She's basically just yoink. And Wanderlust all like, we must gather reinforcements. I don't know why, but I can't help but find it amusing that the pool of floaties and other little creatures in the background are shaking in terror at the sight of Night Swan. In the next dance, which we see that Night Swan is capturing coaches throughout all the Danceverses and making them minions for her Swan Soldier army. Oh. They spelled the word wrong. It's supposed to start with a B. Just kidding. And She takes people for her swan soldier army. That's the gist of it. It said that Night Swan once had a dream of being the best ballerina but failed to achieve her goal, and as a coping mechanism wants to make everything perfect and everything and everyone into what she deems as a perfect being. I'll go more into her backstory later on. The map ends with Night Swan sending her swan soldiers through portals to go capture and brainwash more coaches. But let me tell you, as someone who loved playing the older Just Dance games as a kid, if I had seen some evil being capturing past coaches and turning them into minions at like 9, 10, 11, maybe, I legit would have been crying. But back to the lore. In the next map for physical, we meet Breziana. She's a famous fitness influencer in the Danceverse, and it's just fabulous and full of energy. Just something I gotta point out, I was very happy to see more body types shown after not playing Just Dance for many years. But anyways, Sarah's seen in them all and gets other people throughout the background to join in on her dance. Eventually, the background dancers are getting tired, but Breziana inspires them to keep going, and they finish off the dance together. The map ends with Wanderlust and Sarah appearing. They ask Breziana if she would like to join their team, and she accepts. What? There's not much to decipher about this one. Something I'd really like is later on to get more backstory on her. That would be cool. In the next song, Rather Be, we meet Mihai, who's an apprentice of the flow. They're seen in a large crowd, but when they put their headphones on, they seem to be transported into a different place and practice their connection with the flow. And Mihai blocking everything out with music is honestly such a mood, though. The flow is basically a concept that refers to magical and natural entities that are manifested through dance. It's said that everyone is capable of harnessing the flow, but very few can actually master it. Eventually, towards the end of the dance, Mihai is greeted by Master Panda, who dances alongside them. Master Panda is known as the apprentice of the flow and teaching Mihai their ways. The first time I saw this dance before actually playing the game, I honestly thought to myself, what in the Kung Fu Panda? The map ends with Master Panda using their powers to put a paw print symbol on Mihai's shirt, then fading away, representing the determination and skill that comes with training. I originally thought that Mihai got the panda's seal of approval. Wanderlust, Sarah, and Breziana come through a portal and greet Mihai. Mihai did show some not apprehension. Why am I forgetting my words? Some hesitation before joining the group, but ultimately decides to help them on their mission. That brief moment of hesitation will be explained later further. In the next map, Locked Out of Heaven, we are introduced to Jack Rose, but I often refer to him as literally my child. I don't care what anyone says. I'm adopting him. Where's the fictional paperwork? He is the son of Night Swan, and we can tell he's not very happy with following her orders. He's likely too scared or being manipulated in a way that prevents him from speaking up, especially when we first see him in the background of Witch. The map begins with a flashback to Jack as a child attempting to dance, but his mother is seen watching him in the doorway, shaking her head in disapproval, and she's all like, your lack of talent disgusts me, child. And it transitions over to Jack as an adult doing the same moves in the same room, but more refined and smooth. Jack clearly had lots of time to practice and master his skills by teaching himself to dance. Throughout the map, Night Swan's face flashes throughout the background as if she was saying, I am watching you at all times. But the only time she's not seen is when Jack's on stage and performing for his fans. Those are the moments where he really feels happy, and Jack really does feel locked out of heaven because of his disapproval of his mother when he just wants to be a performer. The map ends with Night Swan watching him dance through the same spot as before, and appears to have still not approved, even though his moves have gotten a lot better. Which does show that she really does have standards that are impossible to meet. And she still looks at him annoyed, and she's all like, you still do not please me, be gone. As she leaves, another portal opens. Wanderlust, Sarah, Breziana, and Mihai all walk through, and they're like, hey man, we're starting a whole dance rebellion against your mom. You want to help us? And Jack's like, who the hell are you? Then for Majesty, Wanderlust approaches Jack Rose, but he shows some extreme hesitation to join the group. Braziana, Sarah, and Mihai all attempt to greet him nicely, but he gives them all dirty looks one by one. Wanderlust attempts to reach out to him, but Jack's like, nuh-uh. Wanderlust, then they started to dance against one another. We can see in the background that Night Swan uses her powers to change Wanderlust into a swan soldier. Dun dun dun! It's important to note that the moment that makes Jack switch sides is not because of Wanderlust being converted into a swan soldier. It's his fans and the audience being converted that gets him to wake up and realize what his mother is doing is kind of whack. As far as one of the things that made me ship Jack with Braziana is here is like when he looks up at her with a giant screen in the background. That's, to me, where his crush started, but that's just me. There are moments, more things I'll point out later. The group of Just Dancers battle against the Swan Soldiers, and they change back to their original forms. But in this part of the map, if you look really closely, you can see Jack arguing with Night Swan. He's probably all, hey, what the heck, mother? And trying to call her out on her BS, but she's all like, get out of my face, you ungrateful brat, or whatever. Then afterwards, Jack battles it out alongside the Just Dancers, is able to set Wanderlust free. Towards the end of the map, Sarah's going face to face with Night Swan, and the rest of the Just Dancers cheer her on. Yay! I honestly love at this time Sarah and Night Swan are played by the same dancer. If you can pull off being both hero and villain, that is honestly such a vibe. Just yes. It took me a while to notice that at the beginning of this part, Mihai's not there. But it zooms out, and suddenly they're alongside the rest of the gang. Originally, I thought that could have been some kind of error, but now I think this is just my personal opinion. I think it took longer for Mihai to join in because they were spending a little time with Liza Friday, who's the coach for Just Dance 2022 edition for last Friday night. They really only have this one interaction, but I ship it. I think they're cute. Eventually, Night Swan gives up, opens a portal, and goes back to her place of origin. The thing I find funny is the move at the end here where Sarah blows a kiss to Night Swan, and then that's what causes her to collapse. She's like, ew, affection, ugh. The map ends with them all celebrating as Wanderlust is happy, everybody's all smiley, and Sarah and Wanderlust together, my heart. They're all rooting for her. But Jack immediately checking that Braziana's okay made me very happy inside. Then the last map is about to begin, being If You Want a Party, a Ubisoft original that celebrates these coaches' friendship. It actually takes place inside of Disco Ball, and you can see a bunch of previous Just Dance maps throughout the background, and some old coaches pop up as they're jamming out, including the coach for What You Waiting For from Just Dance 3. Fun fact, I played that one so much as a kid, I actually can't do it with my eyes closed now. If you want proof, you can find it on my Instagram. The first time I saw the If You Want a Party gameplay, I thought it was a nice little tribute to all the older games. There are a few moments where you may miss if you're playing, like here, Braziana pulling Jack in and he's a little startled. But he does not take her hand off her shoulder for a bit. It's just there. There are a few little glances here and there, and that little side hug at the end. My heart. The story ends with Wanderlust opening one other portal. Sarah says bye and transported back to her world. But when Jack sees Sarah's human, he's a little confused and reaches out to Braziana, and just adorable. My heart literally cannot handle the sweetness between these two, even more so with Sarah and Wanderlust. I will say she is looking at him the most in this particular dance, and when she's saying bye. There are even more Wander Sarah moments to touch on Dance with the Swan, but those can be discussed in the next video. I gotta say, the first time I saw this one, I didn't know anything about the story stuff. This was the first one I saw related to story mode, and when Sarah went back to her human self, I was all like, what the heck is happening right now? But that's basically part one of the main lore. Next upload will be on Dance with the Swan, and I'll touch on Night Swan, the prequel, and other theories and later on. Thanks for watching. Check out my social medias down below. And peace out. Seriously, this is the part where you shut this off, read a book or go outside or whatever. You got it? Just, do you? Do you really? Why are you still here? Just do whatever.